Hi, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. Um, so, I'd like to welcome all of you to this exciting session called Frontiers in Food Processing, Products, and Packaging Technologies. And today we are joined by distinguished speakers, Mr. Sarang Kulkarni, Director for Project Center, Tetra Pak South Asia, Mr. Kunal Prasad, co-founder and chief business officer, Bamboo, Dr. Prabodh Halde, chairman, Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses, Mr. Biswaroop Chakrabarti, vice president and head, packaging development for ITC Limited, Mr. Shanti Lal Jain, member WDRA. And to stir our discussion today, we have with us our moderator, Professor V. Palani Muthu, Director NIFTEN. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, sir.
Good evening and welcome to World Food India 2025 from Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Government of India. I'm also part of this organizing this program because both NIFTAMs come under Ministry of Food Processing Industries. We try to curate many sessions. Earlier we used to have some 25, 30 sessions also. This time we reduced to only 11 sessions from the ministry. That means we have to choose the topics really very, very well. And today we have one of the wonderful topics out of 11. This is one of the most important topic, that is frontiers in food processing, products and packaging technologies. That this session, I'm really excited to have really many big speakers from big industries and well-known faces in this country. They are all champions in their own right in different industries. I'm very happy for that. And food processing, just yesterday in the plenary hall, our Honorable Prime Minister told India should be the food basket of this country, basket of the world. Why did he say that? Because you name a crop in this, any agricultural crop or any other supporting, animal product or anything, everything is produced in this country because we endowed with the varying climatic conditions in this country. You name a crop, you name a fruit, you name a vegetable, we all have it at different season, not at one season. We produce nearly 1,100 million tons of food. Some people get surprised. Why this figure? 335 million tons of grains, and then we have over 400 million tons of horticulture crop, which includes fruits, vegetables, mushroom and all. We have 220 million tons of milk, and then we have, I think, 120 billion eggs. You take meat, about 10, 15. If you put all food together, commodity put together, it will be nearly 1,100 million tons. It's too huge a figure. And we are surplus because of farmers, because of good storage facilities, because of good processing industries. Because food processing, whether you like it or not, it is here to stay, because our lifestyle has changed. I come from a very small, tiny village, but my food style was very, very rudimentary. We eat very rudimentary food, but that is not the case today. And my kids they never know such kind of food. Many times we take processed food. In that sense, when you want to make a food basket of the world, this country, then you need technology. Without technology, you cannot make a food basket. How do you really make it and send it to England, America? Difficult. Now Trump is very angry with us. No, you may not be able to send many things. You will put 50% tax. No, if you want to process, you need technology. Frontier areas of technology, that's what the topic is. What are those areas? That's what listed. There are 6 speakers, wonderful speakers on different topics. And let me, no, if you really want to produce, you need AI. Now everywhere AI, whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not, AI has come in. Machine learning has come in. Now blockchain has come in. IoT has come in. There are latest, eco-friendly, sustainable technologies which includes packaging and other things. Very good processing, energy-saving processing, very non-thermal processing technologies. Many things they are coming. They are in pipeline. So we need to know what we are up to in the days to come. Then we are prepared to face the challenge. To face the challenge, such sessions are arranged with the very big industrial, well-known industrial people, and we have there are 6 topics. First topic is adoption of advanced technologies, which includes AI, robotics, and IoT in processing for setting up small factories. Then this is Mr. Cassius Imos, Managing Director, Tetra Pak. Who is this? Who is Tetra Pak? Tetra Pak. Kulkarni sir. Because last time in another session he was there with me. No, he will be talking about Kulkarni ji. Then we have a second topic, blockchain for food traceability and resilient supply chain models. This will be the co-founder of Chief Business Officer, Bamboo, Mr. Kunal Prasad, very young man. You see, you ought to welcome them with a good claps. And then the third, innovative technology. He is an innovative man. Innovative technologies to support traditional food processing by startups and SMEs. Very important, because we don't need very big industries alone. Pepsi, ITC alone. We have a lot, 1.4 billion people. We need small industries to give employment. So it has to, it has to go dispersed. Your wealth has to be dispersed. Then you need people to support startups and SMEs. No, we have our great man Prabodh Aldeji, my very good friend. You give any topic, he will talk. He will talk, and he will talk sense. That is very important. He is Marico man also. Many of you, it is not written here. He is a Marico Industries also. I don't know the designation there. And then fourth topic, promoting eco-friendly packaging. Prioritizing recyclable and compostable material will be by Bishwarup Chakrabarti, Vice President and Head, Packaging Development, ITC Limited. Thank you, sir. Just now, your research head, Subroto, was with us in our stall, and we are signing MOU with NEFTAM. And then fifth topic, manufacturing excellence with digital supply chain in food processing. This will be by Sanjeev De. Head Supply Chain, Nutrition, South Asia, Unilever. You are there? Yeah, he is a very smiling young man. Yeah, Unilever is every day in our life, Unilever always plays a part. Yeah, then the last topic will be providing liquidity through storage of commodities notified by WDRA, Warehousing Development Regulatory Authority. Am I correct? Yeah. No, I should be correct. I don't know. It's not written here. And the benefits of WRA registration. This will be by Mr. Shantilal Jain, member WRDA. This is the excellent team. Give them big hand. We'll start with the first topic. They will get about 2 to 3 minutes. You tell about you and your company, whoever is. I think first one is Casio. For that, Kulkarni ji. We start with that adoption. You tell about you and your company. Then we'll come to the second round where you can talk about this regular topic for a few minutes.
Okay. First of all, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Thanks to WFI, and of course thanks to you, sir, for anchoring this session. And thanks to the audience for taking out time to listen to us. So talking about myself, I represent Tetra Pak South Asia here. My name is Sarang Kulkarni. I'm Director for Project Center, responsible for all the commercial projects, capital equipment projects in Tetra Pak South Asia market. What Tetra Pak does is, of course, some of you know already. Tetra Pak is one of the world's leading food processing and packaging company. And we are very much into AI, IoT, and robotics. That is the topic for today's session. So what we do in these areas is one of, we take a lot of leadership position in this area because we are one of the innovative company who would want to adopt all the new technologies in our processing and packaging solutions to ensure that we drive down the cost, we reduce the waste, and we set up sustainable and smart factories across the world. So that's our role, and we really take a lot of pride, in saying that we are one of the most sustainable company in the world. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, sir, for the great welcome address. So my name is Kunal, and I'm the co-founder of Bambrew. We are a sustainable packaging company, and the vision that we carry is to really have every single-use plastics removed from the planet. Right? We add close to 400 million tons of plastics every single year. In fact, the overall plastic that we add is around 120 million tons in India. So it's a massive number that we are talking about here. So what we are trying to do is to basically close the tap of plastic coming into the environment by bringing eco-friendly solutions which are biodegradable and home compostable in that particular nature. So use it and throw it out. It'll be decomposed by the organic microbes in the soil, and you'll have completely plastic-free environment altogether. We have worked for the last 5-6 years, having saved more than 60,000 tons of plastics coming into the environment by working with almost 100 plus different brands across the country. Prior to Bambrew, I was working in the agriculture value chain, founded a company called Cropin Technology, which emerged as one of the largest company in this particular tech sector in the globe, served more than 100 plus countries with more than 7 million farmers. And so we are taking the journey from food production in the supply chain to now packaging, because we believe that the entire system should be sustainable from production to the supply chain. And at the end, it should be as much as carbon neutral as possible. That's the goal that we carry.
Very good, very good. Wonderful. We have, anyway, now...
Thank you, Palanmuthu Saab. Thank you, Director Sir, for your wonderful humor and also the opening. So, I was not aware that there are only 11 sessions this time versus 24 last year. So, we are fortunate to be part of those sessions. Please give them a big hand, the Ministry of Food Processing and NIFTAM, for...
Other sessions, basically state sessions and other country sessions, no? The ministry is not doing it.
Yeah.
There are parallel sessions in FSSC.
Got it. No, so we are lucky to be part of this, sir, and from Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Business, I represent here as the chairman. We are supporting over thousands of startups, particularly women, farmer, students, and small and medium businesses. Let me tell you, the India, 42% of the total employment has been recruited and been given by the small and medium businesses, and that is a huge chunk. Also, more than 40% of the export is being conducted by the small and medium businesses. And if any country wants to grow really big, we have to give this importance to the small and medium businesses. So my chamber, along with my all members, we support each other and we have formed one kind of ecosystem. So this chamber through, we give the technology, we give the packaging solution, regulatory solution without any expectation. It's a trusted group, help each other, grow together. That is our point. One more important point what I want to mention, that when I was a student of food technology in 1994, when I passed out, then this food technology and the food processing was a sunrise sector. Today also we can say it's a sunrise sector, but other sectors like automobile, computer, they were there in their own space. But I think food processing is a never ending space. This is a big growth sector, and if India has to grow today, still we are in a processing of 12 to 15% on the fruits, vegetable, and overall processing could be 32%. But if this percent goes to 80%, where the farmers will get benefit and they will value addition, all my colleagues, they are going to say technology. But one more important aspect is, for the Indian kind of environment, we required a real commercial sense of using the technology. So this is just an important thing. Those who are from the science and the research background need to mention the commerce attached to it. Without commerce, no science. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the introduction. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Ministry of Food Processing as well as World Food India for having me here. It's indeed a great pleasure to be in one of the 11 panels. My name is Vishwarup Chakravarti. I head packaging development for the foods business of ITC. I don't think I need to speak about ITC, so I'll speak a little bit about the topic and myself. For 2 decades, I have been with ITC, and all throughout, I have been a packaging and plastics man. Worked in plastic production industry, and various other industries, including HUL. But last 2 decades has been with ITC. The topic today, the choice between compostable and biodegradable, I don't think it's really a choice. It's about finding the right fit for each one of them. Each one has a role to play, right? Sustainability is the kind of cornerstone for packaging, has been like that for about last 2 decades, and it's about finding the right space for each one of them, and more importantly, I think defining the problem. We'll speak about it as we progress, but I think sharp definition, sharp focused. This is a complex problem, so we need to define it sharp and come up with sharp solution. All I can say that whatever is available today, I don't think we have closed the loop. There are gaps, so we need to find solutions for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this illustrious panel, and thank you for the audience. I know it's late in the evening, and this is the last session, so thank you for being patiently listening to us. And I've been with Unilever for about 16, 17 years. It's the only company that I've ever worked for. Of course, we are one of the biggest FMCGs that we have in India, and within that, foods as a division is also one of the biggest divisions that we have. On the topic that is at hand, within foods, we have various levels of digitization that we have in our sites. In fact, one of our sites is actually a World Economic Forum certified digital lighthouse that we have, and it's one of the first set of sites to be actually digitally certified within the food industry to be a lighthouse by World Economic Forum. So it's an absolute pleasure to be part of this forum, and we will talk about the topic at hand once we get a chance. Thank you.
Very much. Now the last topic for introduction is we have Mr. Santilal Jain, the WDRA member. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm a FFI, World Food India. I am SL Jain, member WDRA. Sir has talked about the food basket of the world and the 100 odd billion ton of a production, food production. But the related point is whether do we have the warehousing? What happens whenever the food crops comes, automatically the prices have come down first. The warehousing is the second issue. And third, wherever your production is having, where to keep this good, secured place, safe place, monitored place, as well as the liquidity. So from the WDRA side, what we do, we register the warehouses, we inspect the warehouses, we keep on having inspection the warehouses, they are issuing the electronic negotiable warehousing receipts, and against those receipts, it is like a commodity account, like a DP account of your shares, you can get the money. So liquidity is being provided to the farmers. Government of India is also supporting us. Even the RBI is supporting us. So basically, it's a warehousing ecosystem where we are not only supporting farmers, we are supporting MSME, we are supporting traders. Thank you.
Wonderful. We had a wonderful first round of introduction of their company and their persons, and we'll really go to the business. Who is noting down the points from Kunli? Somebody is doing? Yes, sir. Don't ask me after 10 days, they give me proceedings. Now we'll go with the first topic. Anyway, we have a lot of time today because this is the last session. Where we will go? We'll go home. The first topic, there are wonderful speakers. You don't get a chance in your lifetime to hear from them. No, this is a good opportunity and you have to really listen. I think we have very few chairs and I talked to 500 people without mic. No. Usually. That's why I don't use the mic. Why to waste the energy? Now, the first topic, adoption of advanced technologies, AI, IoT, robotics in processing for setting up small factories. For small factories, this is the catch. For a big factories, smart factories, oh, I'm sorry, it is written as small. That is why I went to smart, I'm sorry, no, you are. Smart factories. Small can be smart. No, no, you can really hear it from Tetra Pak. Couple of my classmates are big people in Tetra Pak in European. Sunil Kote, Raju Karandikar, both were my classmates from IIT Kharagpur and in your Tetra Pak. Yeah, go ahead. No, you can talk. I can ask.
Okay.
I'll ask.
No, thank you for acknowledging, sir. You know people in Tetra Pak, that's really good to know. And so talking about one of the, I can give you one example because it's on, talking is different, but giving an example of what we have done in this space will be really interesting for you to know. I can quote an example of one of the customers called Mengniu in China. Mengniu is, again, in China, it's like Amul for us. So they are one of the largest producers, dairy producers in China. So Tetra Pak has helped to set up a large integrated, fully integrated facility in Mengniu. And that facility, when we say fully integrated, it uses all the latest technologies that we have heard of, which are being implemented by Tetra Pak there. And that facility is called as almost lights off facility. So it runs only with 100 employees and runs 24/7 and fully automated, digitally automated factory. Produces 1 million tons of dairy produce every year. So that's the massive scale we are talking about, only with 100 employees. So this is the impact, and it's one, again, it's the impact, and not only on the sustainability side, of course it is, but also you see the ratio of the employee, the ratio of the labor to the output is one of the lowest in the world. So this is the power of automation and digitalization. And not only that, we have deployed one of the fastest filling machines, our Tetra Pak E3 speed hyper machines. So that has given us a huge productivity gains for them. And that integrated with their autonomous production solution system, which when we integrate this fully with their autonomous system using the AI, it becomes more predictable. It has all the predictability or predictive analysis models built inside, and that runs the whole plant. So you can really imagine, you can see how this automation and digitalization can help industries to achieve what they want to achieve. And their ambition was only, they came to us, to Tetra Pak, saying we want only 100 employees in the plant. So they started a reverse way. They gave us the target that this is the target, and we want to reduce our production cost overall by 19%. And that was the target. And we achieved that target, and that is why this was one of the landmark factory. Not only that, we also helped them to get LEED certified by reducing, water and energy wastage. So that's another, feather in the cap. And this is the factory which was also recognized by World Economic Forum Lighthouse Network. I think one of you mentioned, sir, about that. And this is a factory in China, of course. And they were recognized, and our role in that was recognized by this World Economic Forum. So that's the power of automation and digital. Thank you.
No, that's wonderful. The question is, China is like our country. They have also a large population. What we really looking for, we don't want a factory producing 1 million tons. Maybe 1 or 2 here and there. But we want factories which are producing maybe 0.1 million ton, many factories where your automation can be employed. That model only will work in India. That is for good for this country. Any of your suggestions from, because you have experience, that will be really useful.
No, absolutely. And this is a very good point that you brought, sir, because it's not only large scale factories, they can adopt automation and digital. We have many examples. And since I myself coming from an automation digital background, in the last 30 years, I have done a lot of digitalization. In India, we have had a lot of examples. Maybe I shouldn't quote the names, but there are a lot of examples where we are helping to adopt artificial intelligence-based cheese process manufacturing. And these are something which we are piloting now. We have already established 3 use cases across the world. And cheese producing is something which needs, can use artificial intelligence. And when I say artificial intelligence, we know in cheese manufacturing, moisture and the variability of the moisture is one of the most critical parameters that can increase the yield of the plant. And this is where artificial intelligence can help us to predict actually what will be the moisture and feed us back saying what should be the ingredients, what should be the watts cutting cycle, what should be the speed of the conveyors, what is the salt additions and so on already before we start the production. So this is the AI that we have already use cases across the world, and we are helping to see how we can adopt it in India. So this is one example.
That's very good, because even the microbes are listening AI. See, cheese production, of course, it is because of microbes. According to our Tetra Pak, Kulkarni ji, even the microbes, they are listening to them. No, that's a very interesting thing. Now, let me go to come and bring in the next topic, blockchain for food traceability and resilient supply chain. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I'm sure people would have heard about blockchain and bitcoins, and all of you would have, I know, some of you would have traded on cryptocurrency. It's one of the most secure platforms, if you know, in terms of transactions, where multi-party can interact and everyone have an information. You cannot change the ledger, right? So it's a distributed ledger system. The challenge and the opportunity is there on both the sides, right? So while blockchain has been really very successful in the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, but on the other side, on the food system side, on traceability systems, we have seen very few of the success stories around that. Mostly in the Europe, US markets, we have seen high value items or customers which are very, very, very sensitive about their supply sources, for example, cocoa or coffee, or say, for example, the cotton value chain. People really want to understand whether the cotton that they have produced has coming from that particular region. The farmer has used this much amount of water in that particular, because they want to reduce the consumption of water in the production of cotton as well. So that's where you would actually see some of the successful use cases of blockchain. And it's like a very foolproof system, right? Where you have the farming practices being loaded into the blocks there. Then you have someone who's going and certifying that. You have a global gap certification. You have n number of certification. You can certify that someone knows exactly, okay, the right certification has to be done. Then it goes to the ginner, so you know exactly how much quantity from which it has gone to the ginner. Then the spinner, then the fabric manufacturer, then it goes to a certain country, and then the consumer consumes that, right? But if the consumer wants to understand that what has happened in the entire journey, then he is able to actually trace that out. So that's one of the very complex systems in the agriculture value chain that we have seen in terms of, for example, in the cotton scene that has somehow been implemented. But similarly, for example, cocoa, people would like to understand whether there has been child labor, what has been the standards of production in the farm. So those are some specific use cases where we have seen successful implementation of blockchain. But other than the food systems, right, if you see where can we really use blockchain, I think it's a framework. Just we talk about a technology framework, it can be used across in all sectors. And people coming here from packaging industry, and my current business also being in packaging, we could see that entire traceability of the packaging solution, right? If you are introducing any product in packaging from cradle to grave, when you are getting your molecules, you're converting them to a film, you're converting into a packaging packet or something, then the food gets packed, then you put that into a system, it gets again thrown out, and then you recollect it back, and then it is going into the recycling system and again coming back in the system. This again can be a very good system in terms of how do you really ensure that EPR, the extended producer responsibility, and the accountability of the organizations, plus the entire enforcement of the government can be all brought in together. So I think blockchain is a wonderful system which could be really used. The challenge is about who is going to implement that. Is there a framework that everyone can adopt it and becomes like a one seamless framework for adoption? We have seen that multiple parties have tried to build their own individual private blockchains. And private blockchains are always very difficult because multi-parties will not operate on a private blockchain. I think that's where the public sector, the governments can bring in those frameworks where different parties can come with their own trust. Farmers can share their information, their private information, without having any challenge on that. And every organization can do that. So I think government can play a very important role, or a very large private player, if we can bring such a system. We have not seen that. Especially in the agriculture side, we have done smaller. From IBM, we had the IBM Food Trust and many other smaller blockchains, but not a successful use case. But I'm sure the technology is really robust, and we are looking forward to have partners, and in fact, in our industry as well, in packaging, because we really want to ensure that whatever is introduced into the system has a complete foolproof traceability about how it was added and where it has gone altogether, so that the entire circularity is all maintained. So we will come out with some solutions on blockchain, not yet there, but the technology is there which we are going to use in some time from now.
Any consumer, he has to trust your product. That means your complete production systems should have a transparency. That's what the blockchain is. I know this technology is useful. No, you were talking about the industry, the government support for encouraging these kinds of blockchain. Government should not block the chain itself.
Yes.
That is also important. That is also important. No, did you implement somewhere? You were not told. You have implemented in some system.
So, I mean, in the food system, I mean, as my previous organization, Cropin, we had not done that. We had many use cases, but as I said, like we tried with multiple parties, but again, like failure is also a learning, right? We tried with multiple private platforms, but again, the parties and all the stakeholders were not really convinced enough to participate in that particular blockchain. So, and that's why I say it's a very complex subject, interoperability of the blockchain, whether the blockchains can talk to each other, private blockchains, couple of them together. Can you have the connection of your APIs of your platform into the blockchain? All parties agreeing to the common framework. So there are multiple such challenges that exist and for the very reason that such systems are very limited in terms of success in this agricultural landscape. Absolutely, the cost is also very high. That's where moving from the standard system of a normal platform or ERP, we would not move into the blockchain system, and especially in the agricultural landscape where cost is one of the very fundamental reasons for adoption or rejection. We have to be very sensitive about anything that we introduce in agriculture, and I talk to many fellow founders, upcoming founders as well, that in agriculture, if you want to play a big role, you have to be always very sensitive about, are you going to add a value without increasing the cost? If you can do that, system will be very, very exponentially scalable.
Really, thank you. Next we have a man, Dr. Prabodh Halde. His heart is for SMEs. No? That's what he told in the introductory remark. And I request him, innovative technologies, this is needed for the India, innovative technologies for traditional foods. Now we have thousands and thousands of food. Yesterday Prime Minister was telling, every 100 kilometers our food habit changes. So there are many traditional products, and he is the man and who knows of many of the things. Go ahead.
Thank you, Director Sir, for giving this opportunity. So first, I would like to have a question to the audience. When you go abroad, how many you give abroad? Have you gone to abroad? हाथ ऊपर करो जरा. तो सर ऐसा होता है कि इंडियंस जब बाहर जाते हैं कभी भी मॉर्निंग में पूछते हैं कि आज नाश्ते में क्या है. इंडियन है, ट्रेडिशनल है तो बहुत अच्छा है. और नाश्ता खाने के टाइम पूछते हैं लंच में क्या मिलेगा, और लंच में पूछते हैं डिनर में क्या मिलेगा, डिनर में पूछते हैं मॉर्निंग का ब्रेकफास्ट क्या होगा. बिकॉज व्हेन वी गो अब्रॉड always we are concerned about the food and food which we will get, and those who are vegetarian, naturally it's a big concern if you go to the Europe and US. So traditional food to me, and the people who are producing traditional food, particularly SMEs or big companies, and now you cannot ignore the traditional foods. Look at the Haldirams, Bikaner Walas, even the big food chains like whatever is the McDonald's and all, they also have to take a support of traditional recipes, traditional flavors, traditional products, that the support, the masalas which we use. Now it's very important to have a technology. So people do talk about technologies which are expensive or not, but without technology, I don't think the food processing will ever progress. So I will name few technologies which are in the traditional food are adopted. So there are many examples like Haldirams, then the Chitales, and I can give the example of Das Peda Wala. He has developed a technology called MAP. It's a modified atmosphere packaging. What he has done is, Peda was having shelf life of 3 days. He wanted to export to Russia and European. He has developed the technology along with the IP, and then they got the extension of 15 days with the nitrogen addition, that is called as a modified atmospheric storage or a modified atmospheric packaging. I think these are the very low cost, low capital is very important. In India, if you want to adopt, even sir from Niftam Tanjavur, the technology which you gave for the onion particularly, for the coconut, what you gave for the drying of the coconut, solar, because in India has 11 months of solar, free of energy, and solar drying, like in case of coconut, which takes 90% of the coconut nuts are dried with the सन एनर्जी. सन इज सो काइंड, सूरज भगवान इतने काइंड है हमारे पूरे इंडिया में. यूरोप में चले जाओ, वहाँ पे आपको सन नहीं मिलता है, तो इट्स इलेक्ट्रिकल पावर इज वेरी एक्सपेंसिव. बट फॉर इंडिया Solar is a very good. Then I can give some examples of the low hanging, low cost technologies. Now if those students go abroad, freeze drying, कितनी technology बढ़ गई है. Those carries the dried fruits, dried material with the use of the low temperature freeze drying, vacuum frying, vacuum drying, microwave assisted microbial, that I will tell the story about it, preservation, that is also very good technology. Smart packaging, oxygen scavenger, ethylene scavengers, these are the small. My friend sitting here, I think Nilesh has left. On the analytical part, the biggest part in the export comes, sir, about the testing of the pesticide, insecticide and contaminants. So many, actually our consignment has been rejected. So we required 100% assurance that whatever we are sending, so the technology of testing is also very important. So all these things is getting penetrated. The problem, sir, awareness about those technologies to the SME sector or whatever the SME sector, about the traditional food sector also. We are not aware. We will spend money on the marketing and other things, but when it comes to the technology, awareness about the technology and connect with the NIFTM or CFTRI or ICT or IIT, I think this is important. I will now give one example about my own journey. I have done my PhD at the age of 50. So don't ask me what is my age now, but yes, 1 year back, 2 years back I completed. So when I was a kid, 4-year-old, my father, mother both are a farmer then, and we used to produce jaggery, and then my mother, I have seen her, actually she used to cry when the jaggery gets spoiled, because in month of June, July, rain comes and the jaggery gets spoiled with the mold. Somewhere it was in my heart that can we do something. After that I become a food technologist, and overnight 25 years, I could not do anything for that sector. But suddenly one of my friend's son, he posed me a problem saying that my jaggery is getting spoiled. Suddenly I went back to the flashback, and then I was thinking what to do. And then I did one small experiment with the microwave. When you keep the jaggery into the microwave, the electromagnetic wave passes through the jaggery. The water molecule which is in the jaggery, which spoils the jaggery, it get agitated, and dipole moment kills the microbes. So that was my thought, and then I went to one of the guide, Dr. Annapuri. He said it's a fantastic, you apply for the patent. I applied for the patent, then also went for the PhD registration, and finally we got a patent. I got my PhD, and last year I handed over entire this research to the Government of India, Ministry of Food Processing, free of cost. What we did, sir, at low temperature microwaving, jaggery business is 40,000 crore, and 10% is spoilage with microbial, 4,000 crore. And if you extend the shelf life of the jaggery, really it will help. Even your mystery, your pedha, if you put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, it will kill the microbes. And it is not because of the water reduction. It is the water present in the microbes also get agitated. It's called the dipole moment, H2O. So we required some kind of real innovation in this area, and I required support. And Nilesh, I took your name. I think Nilesh has gone again. Because we required, sir, low cost technologies. We don't require only a theories, we required low cost. And I know that people who are sitting here, you really need to bring to the change to make India Atmanirbhar. Thank you.
Now, anyway, next round people may ask questions. Now, since we have a product, we need packaging. Now, for that, we need Vishwaroop Chakrabarti ji. No? You here, this side. No.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, you are right. When you have a product, you need packaging. But when you go to the supermarket, we go to the supermarket to buy our product, not the packaging. That's a reality. This is maybe my bread and butter, but this is the reality. None of us go to buy packaging, right? So obviously, packaging is always looked at from the perspective of, while preservation, which Haldeji talked about, etc., packaging is very important, but it is also looked at from the nuisance value it creates at the end of its life, right? And when I started my career 27 years ago, it was just a buzz. I mean, it was one of those out of syllabus. So, hota hai na last mein ek chapter, padhna hai to padh lo, exam mein nahi aayega types, right? But over last 2 decades, like I said, it has become mainstream. Now, in packaging, it is one of the pillars of packaging. Sustainability has become one of the pillars of packaging. And it's fairly complex subject. A lot of work has happened. More needs to happen. Like I said, lot of our time went of the fraternity, packaging fraternity, plastic fraternity, went in defining the problem itself. At one point of time, is it really, what is the problem? Is it really a carbon emission problem, GHG problem? Is it a human health problem? Is it a resource efficiency problem, problem, or is it a waste management problem? So over last decade or so, some sense seems to be coming into that, though it is not yet very clear. That there are still different views, and I'll tell you some example of this. So as far as the carbon problem is concerned, I think there's a little more consensus now that compared to other material, plastic is not that carbon intensive. There is carbon, but it is not that carbon intensive. If you look at the alternates, they typically have more carbon emission. And this sector is not like cement industry or steel industry, where carbon is the thing to look at from sustainability point of view. So that's about carbon. So people have kind of realized that in this, probably if you focus on everything, you will achieve nothing. So this is not the subject for carbon. As far as human health is concerned, there are, plastic is one of the most inert material. We all know that. Those of you, if you remember your chemistry labs, some of the acids are stored in only plastic, right? So it's one of the most inert material. Why should it be a problem? The problem really comes from the additives which are used in plastic. Some additives which are used in some plastic. But then the argument is that, in food industry and food contact packaging, these are anyway regulated. There are various regulations which prohibits use of anything which is proven to be harmful to human being. Then why is it a problem? And here I'll give you one example. Recently, I was at Geneva for the plastic treaty talk as an observer. And if you guys know, some of you may be aware of it, the talk again failed. This was the 6th time we met, trying to get an internationally binding treaty, and it again failed, right? So, and it failed. It failed on two major issues. One of the issue was this thing, the chemical of concern, right? So the counter argument that plastic is inert, you don't add it in food packaging, then why it should be a problem? The counter argument given was that, no, but in some plastic, somewhere you are using it. It is getting converted into microplastics. And microplastic, by the way, is nothing but wear and tear of plastic, right? So anything that you use wood over a period of time, there will be wear and tear. You use a metal over a period of time, there will be wear and tear, and micro elements will be produced. That's about it. There is nothing more to microplastic. And for those microplastic may have some chemicals of concern. They may get into the marine ecosystem through fishes or through water. It can get into human body. Now, this argument looks fine, right? I mean, it looks like a logical argument that yes, it might get in. But probably what is not talked about is that every risk needs to be assessed from the point of view of potency of hazard, probability of hazard, and I say the percentage which makes the hazard material, right? Now, when you look at the triangulation of these three, my personal feeling is that is a little overstretch of the thing, right? So leaving this to, then it boils down to either resource and waste management. Yes, these are definitely a problem area, both because petroleum reserves are limited. So over a period of time, it will come down. So we need to look at alternative, that is from the resource point of view. And waste management is the real problem. So I think there's some consensus being formed that waste management is the real problem. And when you focus at waste management, then the question becomes, now what do you do about it? So like our friend from Bambrew, there has been a lot of work happening in the area of, in fact, last maybe 5-6 years back, that was the primary focus area. It's still a focus area, compostable, biodegradable. They are, of course, and a lot of work has happened, a lot of polymers have come in, blends have come in, which can meet a lot of properties, not all properties, but a lot of properties it can meet. And those are, these are very good solution for some sectors, like your single-use food cutleries, etc. It's a great solution. But it is probably not a solution for everything, because one is when you look at it from the resource point of view, which we talked about, you are making something, and at the end of the life of that one single use, its value is becoming zero. Right, that's one part of it, and the second part of it is, of course, the barriers, etc. There's still work to be done in that area, and work is of course happening also.
What I would like to know, maybe the audience, because is there any promising emerging technologies that are coming out from India or elsewhere or from your company that really will change the way the packaging materials are made or the packages are made? New things,
Right,
That will be, you are the leading company.
Right.
Maybe having some research, back-end research for this.
Good point, sir. So basically, one, I talked about how compostable, biodegradable area. The other area is on recycling, right? And that's where we see a lot of innovation, a lot of India-specific innovation coming in. If plastic is recyclable, it can be remolded into things, right? And in this area, we see that India is perhaps the torchbearer in many areas. When we talk about recycling, in our parlance, we talk about two terms. One is mechanical recycling, which is basically, in very simple put, take the waste, melt it, and remold it, right? It's a promising area. It is easy to do, but it has few challenges, and a lot of work is happening in this area. One is on, you need the polymer to be fairly clean when you recycle. I'm using a very simple term, clean, but what it means is that most of our packaging are printed, they are metallized. For you food technology people, you would understand that you need metallization for the barrier and all. So those things are, I call them as a contaminant in recycling, right? So that's one problem area. But where India has really shown promise is, couple of years back, maybe 10 years back, we never used to think that, recycling even 10% of the plastic is possible, right? But today I've been told that in PET particularly, which is fairly clean, which is one single material, fairly clean, less printed and all, recycling rates in India are upward of 90%. And yes, and we are the highest recycler across the globe. So it is not only an innovation of technology, it is innovation of business models. Business models have emerged which makes it lucrative for the recycler to recycle it, which makes it lucrative for the end users to use it, right? And even in other areas like polyethylene and all, which are flexible packaging, low weight. We always used to think that it'll be very difficult to segregate this. But there also, while I talked about printed, metallized, people are actually able to segregate the non-printed, non-metallized one, and it is getting recycled and competitively getting recycled. So these are things which the world is looking at India to learn from India, right? And the other one, which is the chemical recycling, that has a lot of promise, and that looks like the solution to a lot of the problems which we have today, which is basically chemical recycling is nothing but breaking it back into monomer and either using it as fuel or remaking it into polymer. There you don't need that level of segregation, that level of cleanliness. So it looks like a very promising technology. It's still a very emerging area. There are few economic model challenges, etc. But that is the thing to watch out for.
Incentives for recycling is most important. We had a couple of ladies in Coimbatore. You give 2 or 3 water bottles, they give you some 5 rupees or 10 rupees. I forgot that figure. Just because as a service to the nation, they just collect it. And they have a system built. The 2 ladies, just the homemakers, they made a very successful business out of it. That some incentives are required. We have rack big players are doing it, but it is not sufficient. And next we will go to the next topic, digital supply chains in food processing. I think we want to really, everything is digital. Why not Unilever make some digital things for us? Yeah.
So I think that's the right question, right? Everything is digital, and therefore we should have AI into everything and make everything agentic, etc. But I think what we have learned through our experience is that, it's a spectrum, right? So we should start with the problem and what is the best solution for that problem than to start with the solution and say what are the problems where I can fit this solution into. So for example, there are certain problems like, let's say, grading of tomatoes into various colors, right, or shapes and sizes. That is something that AI can be a good use case for. But whenever we have tried to have, let's say, a process capability improvement in a batch process, that's not a very conducive use case for an AI. However, the same is very conducive if it is a continuous process, right? So I think we need to understand that, if there's a smaller fire, you just need a bucket of water. You don't need a fire extinguisher to come and solve it for you. And if it's a big fire, then you need the fire extinguisher. Sometimes what happens is we start the other way around. So we start with the flashier words and say, how can we have agentic AI into my system, and let's go for it. And then what happens is it gets implemented, but 6 months down the line, we just move on to something which is the latest shiny toy that comes in the market, right? So I think starting with the first principles are most important. I was talking about the fact that we have a factory which is Lighthouse certified by World Economic Forum, but that does not mean that every factory needs to go there tomorrow, right? So if you look at food, right, the first, let's say, requirement that a consumer will have is to have consistent delivery of quality against a product where the input is, let's say, agricultural based and therefore will have more variability, right? So therefore you should have process capabilities which are designed to be having any variability in the input but a more stable output capabilities coming in. Now for that, you don't necessarily need AI every time, right? There are simple digitization tools also which are possible to the point that how can our MSMEs use some of these digital tools. I think before we even go into digitization, the first step is obviously to have the right set of instrumentation, right? The right set of measurement. Then comes the set of control, and then comes the set of, let's say, closed loop AI enabled systems. So therefore, depending on where you start as a unit, you will have to have that roadmap, right? You should start with the problem statement, and we have found various problem statements in our factories which does not require AI as the most efficient way of doing it or the most cost efficient way of doing it. We have found that simple tweaks to the process itself eliminates the problem, and therefore it eliminates the need for digitization per se. And then once we have moved the efficiencies of the line to, let's say, 80% plus, beyond that, then we start having the need for digitization or the need for AI. I mean, we have systems in our factories which are, let's say, robotic systems which are bigger than the size of this room. Now, in those cases, what becomes very difficult is for the operator to understand where the problem started and where it surfaced, right? Sometimes you have a fever, but the actual problem is something which is to do with some infection in the stomach, right? You need a doctor to diagnose that, right? So therefore, what happens is that the operator may not be able to pick up, and therefore you need those systems which can then develop and give you the analytics and then give you the prescriptive solutions to solve the complex problems. So it starts with the problem, and then we sort of look at the solution to help. So not every time we use digitization.
That means our supply chain always not requires our digital tools.
It may not be the most effective way of doing it every time.
Yeah.
It depends on what problem within the supply chain we are solving.
Any example for MSME to adopt this digital supply chain?
So I think one of the first things that the MSMEs would deal with is process variation, right? Because one of the things that any company stands for is consistent quality, right? And consistent quality is a function of process variation. And process variation then becomes a problem statement of how do I have the critical to quality process parameters, right, which are under control, right? So for example, the simple things like if there's a temperature which is very critical to maintain because below that there will be bacterial growth, or above that the taste will go bad, then what are the systems that we put in place to sort of first monitor it, then record it, then have systems which can control it, and then you move on, right? So if your monitoring is good enough, then you don't need the second step, right? If your recording is such that you have the human who is able to solve the problem basis the recording of the data, then you don't need the third step. But then when you have systems where the variability is very high or very fast, then the human cannot, let's say, process 2000 data points, then you need a step which can control it. And then if you have a system where the controllable variables are very high, then you need an AI-based system which can handle multiple processes. So it really has to start from the first step and the second step and the third step. Many a times and these are mistakes that we have also made during our implementation journeys, that we start with the fourth step without doing the first and the second. It just puts too much load on that cognitive system of AI, and it then does not work very well. So yeah, it boils down to the process capabilities first, and then the system, and then the system, and then the system.
Because many of our supply chains in MSME, they really do not understand really there is a problem. That itself creates, where you to use AI or our own.
No, actually, sir, AI is, I just want to add, AI is overrated. And today, people consider that if I am not using AI, is like a FOMO. I am missing out something. That is wrong thing. अभी बच्चों को ऐसा है कि अगर 2+2 करना है तो वो कैलकुलेटर का सहारा लेगा. What is this? 2+2 should be in your mind. AI is not a solution for everything. So it is very important to understand, even in the supply chain or quality assurance, where to use AI. And do not load AI. I like your approach that, because that system consumes the carbon emission, yaar. Unless somewhere it is happening. Very important point. Thank you.
Some of the kids are very smart in the school, In 2+2 is 4. That boy told, no, he did not answer to the teacher. Then why you want to know from me? He put a question to the teacher. 2+2, 4. Super intelligent. Now we are the last speaker for the today. He is a warehousing man, and how the regulations and of WDRA, just getting difficulty in pronunciation. How it will help our system? Yeah, I request changing.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I take the clue from Sanjeev, what he said, what is the problem and what is the solutions to that, right? So I'm giving a problem. Last week I was in Kashmir. So this is apple season. Apple is coming, when the apple is coming, it is around 100 rupees kg or so. Even Kashmir, it is of course lower. But you need an apple throughout the year. And what happens when the crops comes, the price goes down. Now the farmers who is growing the apple, he needs money. If he needs money, he will have to sell the apple at a throwaway price. So distress sale will happen. And suppose he wants to keep the apple, where he will keep the apple? So then the question, then our role comes. So one is where he has to keep the crop in a warehouse, the controlled atmosphere. What should be the life? And the registration of the warehouses. What are the rules? We register the warehouses and monitor the warehouses, inspect the warehouses. What happens, suppose he puts the apple in the warehouse. No, he needs money. So there are two options. Either he go to warehouse, take a paper receipt. This paper receipt has its own risk. Now we are in a digital world. Now we are in capital markets, the DP, depository. Depository is having shares, right? So in our ecosystem, we are having depository. So warehouses can issue a depository receipt, which is called electronic warehousing receipt. And this electronic warehousing receipt is a negotiable instrument like check. But the beauty of the negotiable instrument is the buyer, the purchaser who takes the instrument has a title, irrespective of first title having other person. So it is a title to the goods. So immediately he can put his apple in the WDRA registered warehouses, and the ENWR is issued. That the ENWR, the banks can finance, because it is a safe, it is a negotiable, and you get a title to the property, to the asset. So automatically what happens, the banks have started doing. Now what we have done, we have registered the warehouses, we have own repositories, then the banks, all banks are having products where the customer can go. Now we can also have an econ system where online also you can apply. So online also you can apply and get a loan. So what happens, he will get the loan. At 100 rupees, if you want to sell apple, you will get 100 rupees. If you want to sell throughout the year, naturally you will get more than 100 rupees, more than 100, on an average 150, 160. What is the cost? Cost will be the interest cost. Interest cost also, the subvention and all is allowed. So in our in WDRA ecosystem, what happens, the one side the warehouses are growing, on the other side the farmers or the MSME needs processing quality and the continuous supply. So quality can be maintained in the accredited warehouses only where the controlled atmosphere. So MSME is also getting a benefit, the farmer is also getting benefit, and even the traders also getting benefit. So in the entire ecosystem of the WDRA, you have a problem of having crop where to keep to the throughout availability. What is the country's broad objective? Country's broad objective: food security, continuous availability of items, and the inflation. All is being taken care through this warehousing system.
That's correct. You know, recently, the Press Information Bureau from all the way from Delhi, they came to Tanjavur to record what our ministry has done for farmers. There is agro-processing clusters where one of the essential thing is have a warehouse. The different factories, they can store their commodities there in the warehouse. It is inbuilt in the agro-processing cluster. Couple of farmers in near Pudukkottai, that is near Tanjavur, they kept their urad dal, the season it goes drastically comes down. He keeps there and he stores the material. After 4 months, 3 months, almost the price is 1.5 times to 2 times. So that way warehouse is, he doesn't have any facility to store in his farm, but he took the help of this warehouse and getting. See, this is one good thing that our ministry is, many ministries, the agriculture ministry also, providing there is a lot of scheme, subsidy for building warehouses in the rural areas and even in the towns. And there are some of the things that our people are very intelligent, because since the warehouse, to make it very interesting, I am telling this story, which happened actually. I was serving in Karnataka during in 93 in a smaller place. Arisikere, where your copra, dried copra comes from, in Delhi and all. Copra is very expensive commodity compared to coconut. Okay, our intelligent farmers, they kept in the warehouse this copra. Along with the copra, he put some other material also inside in the bag. He put the weight of the bag and then stored it. He went to Canara Bank. He took the loan based on the value of that weight. But half of the thing is not copra inside. Warehousing Development Corporation, whatever regulatory, they don't check what is there inside. They give a receipt that is bankable. But he is super intelligent. He cannot really blame him. He is super intelligent. He put some other material inside and put the bag. And warehousing manager will not know. He only know the weight, number of bags, weight and copra. And based on that, some 80% or 60%, Canara Bank gave the loan. After opening it, that fellow did not repay. He knows that there is nothing. These things also.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Regulation should be there.
So that the regulation is already there, sir. Regulation is he may that or warehouse may not be WDRA accredited warehouse. So what the regulation is that the warehouse man will issue the warehousing receipt wherein he talks about the quantity, quality, and he is responsible even to maintain the quality. If he is unable to maintain the quality, he has to pay 133%. So that act is very straight. So what happens? Not only he checks, we are assayers, everything grading and everything is taken care, sir.
Maybe
But-
yes, they were both of them together, manager and the.
It can happen.
No, this actually happened.
The loan goes bad, doesn't mean that you will not give loan.
But recently there was a minister, Kerala minister. He was in the their parliamentary team, parliamentary committee on agriculture food processing. We had a program in Coorg. The minister is the MP from Kerala. He was arguing during that, it's a big meeting. 19 MPs came there, and I was coordinating that meet. He was arguing that Kerala government, where that paddy they stored, that receipt, they are not giving loan against that receipt. He was complaining, and there was a lot of discussion.
So that is why I told you.
In state to state should not vary.
Sir, I was a MD of Indian Bank. Prior to that, I was a ED of Bank of Baroda. So I know how to give loan, right? So my point, no, my point, my point, no, my point is that should be a negotiable instrument. If you are giving to a where paper receipt, right, you're not having legal title to it, then you are dependent on the collateral managers in between. Here in this electronic warehousing, you are getting title. That is two different.
No, I did not ask. Only
And
the MP
and
was
no,
asking this.
naturally it happens. Sir. That is why this electronic system, eKun, where even the online also you can get.
Get it. Good, good. And we have a really wonderful discussion. Almost an hour. We have already passed. We did not nearly notice because this stopwatch is running. I know that time. Already 60 minutes passed, but we had a wonderful talk. Maybe we can take one or two questions from for the panel members. If you want, you can raise your hand and introduce yourself. Oh, there are so many people. Yeah, go ahead, first man.
Sir, I am from the cold storage industry, and regarding that warehouse receipt financing that thing. Sir, the warehouse they are actually they are not financing the perishable items in Odisha and perhaps the warehouse WRDA is only giving licenses to cold storage or warehouses. They issue the certificates. On that basis of the certificate, bank finance them on WHR, warehouse receipt financing their But for perishable item, no bank is actually lending, extending finance for that.
So we are having around 200 some odd items, 215 or 230 items, wherein standards are there. Based on that standards, because ultimately you have to maintain the quality of the item. Based on those standards and post storage also or inspections takes place. So those items which we have a standard, either over standard, BIS standard or INAM standard or JAM standard, all are being financed. So maybe this item may not be on the list, or if it is on the list, then it can finance.
Sir, potato is not being financed.
Okay. The potato is being financed, Baba. I was warehouse.
In Bengal they are giving, but in Odisha no finance is being given for the potato.
Bengal, Didi can fight. What is that? No, maybe the next chief minister, present chief minister, I do not know.
There are number of potato growers near Agra. I was the general manager Agra in bank. So we have financed number of cold storage, Baba.
Yes, not financing cold storage, but for warehouse is finance. They are not giving Odisha. I don't know regarding Agra or
Okay.
Yeah, the next man.
In some of the states, still this is going on, because today also when I'm seeing the WDRA report, 10, 12 states are very aggressive. Suppose MP wheat, they are very aggressive, right?
No, that's good thing has come. That warehousing, now we have.
It is a negotiable instrument now.
Tremendously improved.
And government is giving guarantee to the banks. The bank which is giving loan, government is giving a 1,000 crore guarantee. No, what we are doing, I agree with you, because lenders should also understand. Awareness amongst lenders is required. Awareness amongst farmers is also required. So what we are doing, we are talking to all banks and having number of places outreach. Recently, around 3-4 days, we have a huge outreach program in Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I am from the packaging industry, and I would request Mr. Chakrabarti to take this question. Sir, you mentioned about chemical recycling being at a nascent stage and the need for it. And government has come out with EPR targets specifically for plastics and multi-layer packaging, and chemicals recycling being critical to achieve those targets. What would be your thinking or your suggestion to the industry? How industry should take up the chemical recycling more, and what kind of support does the industry need from the government to take that up? Thank you.
Yeah, I think good question. I would have liked to touch upon anyway this topic, but shortage of time. Yeah, from the EPR perspective, there is a mandate for adding recycled content in everything, and in food contact, etc. Chemical seems to be the way. Now there are few things which needs to be done in this area. Of course, one is some things which the industry can do, something which the government needs to intervene. Right. So I think government is promoting. I was talking to Ministry of Chemicals and Ministry of Environment a couple of days back. They are saying that they are promoting this chemical recycling. But I think what needs to be closed, the tap which needs to be closed, is, see, from a chemical recycling, you first produce an oil, pea oil, right? That oil has calorific value, it can be used as a fuel also. Or it can be fed into a reactor and again be converted into a polymer. Now what needs to be done is to find out the right economic model for this, which works best. Because in either case, you need fuel, right? You have not gone completely electric on vehicle. You need fuel for many things, right? Either you can bring it from pure petroleum, or you can bring it from there. The challenge with chemical recycling today is finding the economic balance of it, right? That's yield, and hence at what yield it makes economic sense. All that I talked about, the mechanical recycling and all, they made sense because in India people were able to find that fine economic balance, so that everybody in the chain makes something out of it. I think that's the critical one. Government support is also required. Industry, of course, has to work on finding more cost-effective solutions. But from the government side, I think that needs to be understood today. From the EPA perspective, if you use it as a fuel, it is not considered as a recycling. Right? I think that's what I would like to say.
We are very intelligent people. We can make something out of nothing also. such people, yeah. Gentleman from last.
So hello, my name is Werner Steidl. I'm from Germany, from company Optima. So we have already a subsidiary here in India with about, I think, 60 people. And we are very strong in this sustainable packaging. And we have our own R&D department in Germany. And maybe you don't know, but maybe some of you know it, but probably not so much people. We have this so-called PPWR in Europe, which more or less says that 90% of the packaging, paper-based packaging, fiber-based packaging, needs to be recyclable. And now we are machine builder to make packaging. And the challenge here is you can have good papers, yeah, they are gas tight or protection against humidity, moisture. So this is very important, but how to form it and how to seal it and to close it. So this is our part inside of this game. That means you need the materials and you need the technology, which is in our hands, to build a container, to fill it, to gas flash it. And for example, we have now achieved a container for infant formula, which is gas tight, rhodamine tight, and fulfills the PPWR. So this is, at the beginning right now, but this is growing and growing, because in Europe, regarding this PPWR, this is now a must for the companies. If you can't fulfill it, you have certain taxes on it. That means your product is getting more expensive. And I am happy to be here in my last session, which is the most important for me, to see that India is also going in this direction. And if possible, I would like to interchange with you some business cards and look if there is maybe possibilities together to improve this recyclable packaging here in India together with us. Thank you.
Why not? There are many German companies here, and you produce wonderful machines. German, we call German engineering. Deutschland is industry land. Correct? Is it my German is correct?
Yes. We are in engineering. You know, each country has good things. Yeah, you should have. Yesterday I saw I saw something.
Yes, sir. Truly a very enriching session, and sir, I've been listening to many sessions since morning, and this has been really insightful. And all the panelists, thank you so much for coming. On behalf of World Food India, we'd like to welcome you, and thank you, sir, for moderating it so well. Now I would like to felicitate each one of you, and I'd request Karan to. So, sir, you can felicitate everyone. Yes, sir. Mr. Sarang Kulkarni, Director for Project Center, Tetra Pak South Asia. Mr. Kunal Prasad, co-founder and chief business officer, Bamboo. Dr. Prabodh Halde, chairman, Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses. Mr. Biswarup Chakraborty, vice president and head packaging development, ITC Limited. Mr. Sanjeev De, Head of Supply Chain and Nutrition, South Asia Unilever. And Mr. Shanti Lal Jain, Member WDRA,